Hello and welcome to this Hatha yoga for happier hips and lower back. Hello and welcome to this Hatha yoga for happier hips and lower back. I'm so glad to be practicing with you today, especially a full 60-minute Hatha yoga class. I've been noticing in the comments. Thank you so much for those of you who leave comments that a lot of you are going back and doing the longer 60-minute Hatha classes. So I thought it would be great for all of you OG people to bring back a 60-minute Hatha class, see how you like it, and yeah, just have a longer 60 Hatha minute class for the people who have been here since real yoga for real people, because I just love supporting you in a daily yoga practice. And some days you want a longer practice. Let's get started by resting back. And if you're having low back issues, it probably will be comfortable to have your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. That will also create some more slack in your lower back. And let's just take a moment to arrive here now, letting go of what came before, feeling the support of the earth underneath you. Feeling that stillness, that steadiness, that groundedness, and allowing your body to sink into it, to be received by it. And even here in this first pose, when this is a pose, you can start to tune into your hips and your lower back, because gravity is already working its magic on your body, and you can feel that. You can feel how your bones are sinking through the fluid of your fascia and your muscles. You can feel how your pelvis is coming into alignment, how the tops of the leg bones, the hip joints are coming into alignment, how the low back is releasing. And all this is happening with the magic of gravity and the fluidity of your breath, just allowing your body to reset here. And pay attention to how it does this with just little or no effort on your part. Each time you have a long, effortless exhalation, your body comes into more alignment. Tension is released. And you become connected to something greater than yourself. So you become connected to the earth, become connected to your higher self. Recognize that you never practice alone. We always practice in community. You can begin by setting an intention for what you would like to receive from this class today. Tuning in particularly to how your body feels right now. Just making a mental note, particularly to how your pelvis feels, your hip joints, your lower back, so that you can check in with them again at the end of the class. And then also making a promise to yourself to move in a way that is kind, in a way that is friendly, in a way that honors your body as it is today, letting go of comparing yourself to your past self, some kind of ideal self, and promising to be with your present self with kindness, with compassion, with friendliness, knowing that that is the foundation of our practice. And then just notice how your body, your physical body responds to that intention, that promise that we will be kind as we set off into movement. Okay, so we're going to start with our feet at the wide edges of our mat, and you could even take your arms out to the side to create some stability here, letting the shoulders be relaxed and the neck is relaxed because your body is an entire fascial unit. So whatever you do in one part of the body, if there's tugging, you're gonna create tugging in another part of the body. So let the upper body be relaxed, even though we're focusing on the hips and the lower back. And if you need to put a pillow underneath your neck so your neck is more relaxed, please do that. So you're going to sway your hips from side to side and moving with breath. So breath is gonna be like the lubricant for and remembering that you are your own best teacher, you are your guru. And so you're going to choose a pace that feels appropriate for you today. Pausing when you want to, lingering when you need to, picking up the speed if that feels right for you. So my tempo is just that, it's my tempo, it's a suggestion, and then you're gonna feel your body and feel what feels appropriate for you today, and that's going to be different tomorrow, the next day, each time you practice this class, each time you come back to it. One thing you can experiment with is as you internally rotate, so for example, I'm on my left leg here, you can lengthen that left leg out long, and that will really get into your psoas quite nicely here. Remembering that promise we made to ourselves that we're going to be friendly, we're gonna be kind with our bodies, we're gonna work with an appropriate edge through the class. We're gonna work with 70% effort so that we're not gonna move our nervous system into stress, where that it's gonna shut down for you. We want to be in a place of being kind to our bodies so that they will open and release like a flower on a sunny day. Okay, and then for the next one, you're going to need your yoga strap, and you're going to hook it up around your right foot. And even though you don't probably need the strap for the first part of this pose, I want you to use it for the first part of the pose. We're gonna do half happy baby, so you're drawing your knee down towards your armpit, and then we're gonna lengthen into hand to big toe pose, okay? So we're gonna draw that knee down towards your armpit, half happy baby, and you can experiment with moving around here, feeling into the joint. Let it be juicy, and then we're gonna lengthen up into hand to big toe pose, and same thing here. You can feel around into the hip, circle around, Feel it around up here. Okay, so we don't have to be kind of, static about it. Whatever allows you to feel into the joints. So these are just kind of, markers along this journey. Half happy baby. Maybe you're static. Maybe today you want to feel around a little bit more. And then the other area that we're feeling around is that hand to big toe pose. And you could do circles, you could do side to side, you could do front and back. So this is your practice, and you're just playing around between these two places. And if you don't have low back issues, you could experiment too with having the other leg bent straight and see how that feels, because you'll be able to feel a little bit more opening on the front of the hip, the left hip. Now, as you're doing all this movement and experimentation through the right hip and the back of the leg, when you come to hand to big toe pose, don't forget to breathe. Your breathing is allowing you to stay connected to your ventral vagus nervous system, so that you're telling your nervous system that, yeah, I'm still connected with my body. I'm feeling safe. When we stop breathing, we know we've moved into that sympathetic response where things are starting to feel stressful for our bodies. So that's a good sign that we can, make an adjustment so that it feels safe in our bodies again. And bringing the breath back, easing off a little bit, can be a way to do that. Our bones sit in a fascial fluid system, so it can be useful to visualize it that way too. Let it be fluid. And slowly, incrementally, things might start to feel like they're becoming more juicy, opening up, but knowing that it takes time, and that's okay, because we have time today, particularly because we have our nice, full, juicy hour together. Okay, so if there's anything else you want to experiment with on this side, you can go ahead and do that. And when it feels complete, you can just let this right leg rest down. And then I want you to check in and feel the difference between your right and left side of your body. So for me in particular, the right side of my body just feels like it's surrendering to the ground so much more. And I'm already feeling, our title for our class is Happier Hips. But I'm also feeling that my lower back is feeling happier as well. It just feels better than the left side. So let's bring some balance to that by doing that whole sequence on the left side now. So you'll start by hooking up the ball of your left foot. The fascia there is just not as fragile as on the arch, so it's nice to put the strap there. So you're going to start by doing that nice little happy baby here, drawing the knee into the armpit. And here you can be static about it if that's what feels appropriate today. And then just playing around with those positions, noticing how that feels. You can do circles here too, or you can just play around with crossing over the body a little bit more, seeing how that feels, or going a little bit wider, seeing how that feels. Or maybe even doing like a windshield wiper here, where you go open and close. And then our little experimentation or play here was to go between the two, was to open up into a hand to big toe pose and come back to the happy baby pose. But then also to spend some time experimenting with the hand to big toe pose. So here you could do circles too, which is nice because you can feel the top of the femur bone moving around in the pelvis. Remember to breathe. Staying connected with your breath keeps that nervous system feeling safe. But we could do that coming in and releasing it out. Could do the kind of more windshield wiper in and out here too. So, your job here, so to speak, would be to see how many different ways you can move in each of these positions, between both of these positions. And that's also another great way to know that your nervous system is regulated, because you'll know your nervous system is regulated when you feel like you have a lot of choice. And when you can find that choice on your own too, you're finding choices that maybe I'm not even suggesting to you. That's a great way to know that your nervous system is regulated. Staying connected with yourself means you're paying attention to how this is feeling in your physical body as you do this. And remember to, even though we're working the hips, to pay attention to that feedback elsewhere in the body. If it starts to tug in the neck and the shoulders, to make that appropriate connection adjustments, because as I've said, we are held together by one entire fascial sheath. So if there's tugging in one part, it's going to tug in the other part. So make the adjustments, find that ease in your neck and shoulders, and that will help your hips as well. Relax the jaw, space between your teeth. Okay, so see if there's anything else you want to play with here. And then make your way into the check-in on this side. And just notice how your left hip is feeling, your left low back is feeling, the whole left side of your body. And your hips and low back might not be the problem areas. If your shoulders are the problem areas, and your neck, check in with those, because there's a really interesting fascial connection between, a nice X between your hips and your back, hips and your shoulders. And so you might be noticing that your shoulders are releasing as you release your hips as well. So just pay attention to your whole body. Okay. So from here, we're going to bend your knees. You can put your strap off to the side. Bend your knees with your feet flat on the floor. And you're going to cross your right leg over your left, open up your right knee. And also just notice, how does that feel after we've done all that releasing in the hip joint? Draw your left knee in. You can hold on behind your knee if you have any knee issues. You want to feel sensation in the outer thigh and into the glutes here. This is a great position to release the hips and the low back. And then you can tune into your own physical body. And this probably goes a lot faster than what I'm going to say, but you can say, self, do I want to be still here today? Or would it feel good to move? So for me, it feels like I'd like to just be still in this static stretch right now. But movement could look like, drawing forward and back, kind of releasing the stress, or going side to side, or circling, you know. You could even do something with your other hand, like opening the knee a little bit. You could even see what it feels like to lift the other leg up and press it in a little bit more. So just see what wants to happen in your body. But for me, just the stillness, feeling the juiciness of the stretch feels great right now. And those are just some suggestions. I bet that you can find a lot more ways to move here. One of my favorite ways to move in figure four pose, and nice sort of at the beginning of the class, is to lower that left foot down. Take your arms out into a T, press into the foot, and lower your right foot down to the ground so you get just a nice twist in here. Start to wake up that spine. Nice release for your lower back as well. And then you're going to come back center. Let's pause in the center here. And let's just feel the difference between your right and left glutes, buttocks, right and left lower back. Are your hips getting happier? Is your lower back feeling more released, less achy? And then let's go ahead and do this on the other side. So draw your left leg in. And know that this side is going to be different. And so you want to honor your body here. So on this side, in my body, and just to give you, kind of an idea of kind of the thought process, I'm having some issues in my left knee. So I'm just going to experiment here. It doesn't feel as good. So I'm going to experiment with some different positions to try and get the sensation more into my glutes so it doesn't feel so strong in my knee. So moving around is going to feel maybe a little bit better for me here. So you could do those forward and back movements here. You could try the side to side here. You could try circling like we talked about. Remember, you've got two legs here, so you could notice what it feels like to lengthen the other leg up and down. But remember your neck as well, keeping your neck nice and relaxed, your shoulders heavy on the ground. Staying connected with your breathing. And then also just nice to having a little twist at the beginning. So placing your right foot down, bringing your hip over to the left, and then just coming into lowering your left foot down, having a little twist here, letting those shoulders stay down. And then coming back to the center, uncrossing your legs and just checking in and noticing how that feels. Okay. So one more in this reclined position before we come to quadruped. You're going to, let's just start by rocking your pelvis, tipping it forward and back. So reaching your pubic bone and tailbone away from you, and then curling it up towards your face. And, you know, if I was practicing on my own, I probably would spend some more time with hip release. So I would probably do more hip circles, knees to chest and stuff to release my hip so that my pelvis was more fluid. But I have, I have only an hour with you. So, yeah. And I would probably do more myofascial release stuff too, which we do a lot more of in our membership community. So, so if this feels a little, me, it feels a little stuck, those are some things that I probably just spend more time with. So just so you know, it does take time. And you know, we have time. So now I'm going to lift the pelvis side to side, lifting the hip bone side to side. And I'm feeling into and imagining it's just like the bones are moving through that fascial fluid. So the visualization is really useful. So maybe I'm imagining it's like, you know, the inside of an aloe leaf. There's that kind of viscous substance inside there. Let's imagine it's like that and see if it helps us let our movements be more fluid, the way the bones of the pelvis can move inside here. We're trying that back and forth again. And now circling. And see how smooth the circle can be. Circle the other way. So I've lost track of my circles. So this is something I'd probably spend more time with, really slow it down. I'm just honoring the length of this class. So we're going to curl the pelvis up. You're going to roll up into a bridge pose. Take your arms overhead. And this is great because you're strengthening your glutes and you're opening up the front of your hips. So let's come down and up through this. Curl the pelvis up. Roll up. Open, feel the opening through the fronts of your hips. Feel the strength of your glutes. Press into the big toes, the big toe mounds. And you can roll back down. Inhale, exhale, curl up. Open up the fronts of the hips. To really open up the fronts of the hips. And exhale down. Inhale. Exhale, roll up. When we get up here, let's open up the fronts of the hips. Let's imagine we're breathing into the fronts of the hips. Nice. Exhale, roll down. And then let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale, roll up. When you get up here, press up, open the fronts of the hips. Inhale, breathe into the fronts of the hips. Exhale, roll down. And then hug your knees into your chest. And again, this could be static. You can make space for your belly, or you can roll side to side. Okay, from here we're going to come up onto all fours. Okay, from all fours, we're going to have a little water. But you're going to do some hip circles if you're ready for that. So you can come onto your hands and knees if you want. I'm going to do elbows. You're going to do hip circles. You can do them both ways, and you're going to do hips side to side here, okay? So you can do that. I'm going to have a drink of water. Okay, so we're circling our hips. You want to feel the hip bones nice and juicy in their sockets. You're getting a twofer here. You're getting your shoulders too. Going both ways. And then we're going to go side to side, really leaning from side to side. And then you're going to take one leg out to the side and you're going to lean forward and back. And we'll do that on the other side as well. Leg out to the side, just rocking forward and back. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of cat pose. The way we're going to do cat pose today, though, is with your toes together, your knees wide, and just exhale, round up through your back, and inhale, arch. And then walk your hands back. We're going to come into lunge pose. So you're going to, I'm going to be going both sides anyway. Okay, so we're going to walk your left leg through for lunge pose. And I want you in lunge pose to do a little bit of circling. So it looks like I'm circling through this knee, but I'm really moving through this hip, okay? So I'm thinking about from this back hip, kind of going forward, around, and back. Okay, and then you're going to turn to the long edge of your mat, and you're going to turn your left leg out to the side. And we're going to do the same thing here, that kind of circling through the hips. Okay. How are you guys doing? How's it feeling so far? So just check in. It's so great to practice with you today. I'm loving this longer class. You can let me know how you like the longer 60 minutes class. It's just nice because instead of just coming into a pose and moving on, we can really explore the poses, you know? That's what I'm really enjoying about it. You can let me know in the comments. I mean, I love having a shorter class too, because I love a shorter class for the beginning of the day when we can just have it and then you can get into your day. But this is really nice to like, it's like a spa treatment for our bodies, right? It's really nice. Okay, let's come to the other side. You're gonna lunge on the other side. This time you're gonna walk your left leg through. Okay, and then we're gonna play with those circles again. So you're gonna, moving from this right hip, it's like you're asking it to do this circle. It looks like all the movement's coming from this knee, but it's really not. It's just going along for the ride. And you notice, like, I know you yogis, we can all do this, and then we bypass the ligaments of the joint. But do you see how I'm staying here? I'm keeping my pelvis tucked under. I'm keeping my butt pushed forward, and I'm really staying in the intensity of the stretch, so to speak. Okay? So there's a big difference between that and then this, you bypass, and yeah, so, you know, there's, you know, be honest with yourself, right? It's not about the shape, it's about the sensation. We want to do something here, right? It's not about the shape. Okay, so that was that. We did that. And I think we're coming to standing now. Okay, yeah, we're coming to standing. So if you would like to do a down dog to standing, you may. I'm still nursing my wrist, so you do you. And we're going to come up to standing for Tadasana. And in Tadasana, we're going to just check in and notice how you're feeling. Notice how it feels to stand on your legs now. And also notice how your low back is feeling. So Tadasana becomes our check-in point from standing, just in the same way that we kept going back to lying down. And that was like our rebound check-in point, that recline check-in point. Now Tadasana becomes that point. It's almost a more useful check-in point because when we're going through our day, you know, we can check in standing. How does my low back feel? How does my hips feel? Just notice that here. And from this position, I want you to just do some hip circles here. We're going to go the other way. It's a long time to do them for. Okay, go the other way. Okay, and then pause and notice here. Just notice how the tops of the hip joints are feeling. So we're just starting to feel what it feels like for noticing what the bones feel like, just being suspended in that fascial fluid. And maybe you can start to sense and feel that here more now. And then you're going to need your block. So I'm actually just going to put my block right on the floor so that this mat's fairly thick, so then it will be easier to balance. And you may even want to hold on to a chair or a wall for this. So you're going to stand on your block, doesn't matter which leg, you're going to do both. And you're going to suspend your foot and your leg and just let your hip swing. You could do this on, if you have stairs in your home, you could do this on your stairs and hold on to the wall there. Just notice what a great hip release this is. Feel how juicy the hips are feeling in the joint. And then you can take a step off. And you can feel the difference between your two legs. Your leg that you were swinging probably feels actually longer than the leg you were stabilizing on. It probably feels more comfortable, your low back on that side. And then let's go ahead and do that on the other side. So you're going to stand on the block on the other leg. And just let this hip drop, drop, drop. So again, this image, which is an accurate image of the bones being suspended in the fascia. And I'm really liking that image of the fascia being like the inside of an aloe plant, that viscous fluid. So let the bones just be suspended in a fluid like that, and you'll feel the bones just drop. So it's not so tight. You want that fluidity. Okay, so you can release that down. Standing on both legs again. Just notice how that feels. And the fascial system is a system of tensegrity, so it's not like, it holds you all up. It's not like the more you do this, you're just going to become a bag of bones that falls on the ground. It's a system of tensegrity as well. So, you'll also notice more stability as you do this. It's just a brilliant system. So we're going to do some standing knee to chest now. This is going to be some balance. And if you need support for this, you could even just back up against the wall and use the wall. So that's just fine. We're going to do some twisting too. But it's a nice idea to work balance on this as well. So pay attention to your body today. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes balance is an issue. Sometimes you've got inner ear things going on, some vertigo. Back up to the wall. Remember our promise to ourselves to be friendly to ourselves at the beginning. So honor your own body and where you are at today, not comparing yourself to a past self or to some ideal self, being present to yourself today. So we're going to do knee to chest pose standing today. So you're going to draw one knee in, draw it up. We're also going to do some twisting in knee to chest pose standing. We can do some circling. We can do some opening and closing. So you may notice that you're starting to get a little stressed here. So this is okay. Your sympathetic nervous system is probably coming online here. That's okay. You're going to go, we want our nervous system to be fluid. So we can move into that activation. Your sympathetic nervous system is a system of activation. We can move into that, but then we can also then easily be flexible in our nervous system and come back into that ventral regulation. So maybe you stop, you take a breath, you reset, you find that resilience, and then you go again. You know, that's what flexibility is, not just flexibility in our physical bodies, but flexibility through our nervous systems as well. Okay, then you're going to feel the difference between the two sides there. And really here, you know, one way that we can regulate again is through connection. Connection to ourselves, connection to each other. Remember, we're practicing together, connection to the earth, that's to nature. So feel the solidity of the ground, to our breath. We did a class a few weeks ago on the vagal break, so focus on your exhale. And then we'll move on to the other side. So this is definitely a pose that is going to move us into that area of activation, you know, a little bit stressful as we come into those balancing poses. Maybe we experience a little bit of failure, and that's okay. A lot of you loved that post that I did on Instagram this week. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. So it's no big deal if we fall in a balancing pose. We will fall in a balancing pose. And then we just get up again. That's just how it goes. It's a normal part of life. It's a normal part of balancing poses. Okay, we're going to pause into Tadasana again. Notice how you feel connected to the earth. Follow your exhalation. Connect with yourself. Know that we're practicing together. Everybody else was falling too. And getting back up. Okay, so the next pose we're going to do are some tree pose variations with a really important hip mobility exercise. So there's really more emphasis on variation than tree pose. So for this one, I am actually definitely going to use the wall for it. So at any point, you can come back to the tree pose. So you're going to turn your legs out and you're going to come into tree pose. This is very loosely going to be tree pose. So for those of you who know CARS, controlled articular controlled articular. Can you look that up, Tim, what CARS stands for? CARS. Okay. So you're going to bring your right knee forward, turn it in. You're going to bring it around to the back, and you're going to push the knee back as far as you can, and then lower down. Then knee comes back, around to the side. The knee's turned in as it comes back, and then it comes forward. You got that? Controlled articular rotations. Okay, it always seems like it should be range of motion, but then I can never remember that. Controlled articular rotations. They have these for each joint in your body. So this is the one for your hips. A lot of you are probably familiar with these. So knee back, around, and up, and down. So knee comes up, internally rotates, comes around, and back. Then it goes back, around, so it comes to that internal range of motion, and in. And it takes your joint through its full range of motion. And the great thing about it too is you can see it takes strength and takes your joint through its range of motion with strength. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Okay, we're going to do those on the other side as well. You might have stayed in a tree pose. Okay, so now we're going to do this on the other side. So tree pose, you could come up and down in tree pose here. You could go reverse tree pose, change your branches. So you could just move in tree pose instead of the cars. Or you can join me for cars. They're so good. I encourage you to do them. Don't compare yourself to me or to some kind of ideal. I'm not the ideal, by the way, but I have been practicing them and they will get better. This is great. This is a great exercise to do. Internally rotate around to the back. Knee goes back, 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 and down. Yeah, real yoga for real people. We're just going to remember, be friendly with our bodies and move our bodies as we can today. And then tomorrow, when we practice again, because I love supporting you every day, then it might be different tomorrow. And these take time, and if you practice them consistently, you will see improvements in your range of motion. And not only that, because it's not just about having improved range of motion, it's about feeling better, right? Your hips will feel better, your back will feel better, your shoulders will feel better, you'll move better. And, you know, for me, I'm turning 50 in a few days, and my joints need more care than ever now. 20s was fine, 30s were fine, 40s, the more I move through my 40s, the more and more I have to care for my body. Okay, we're going to do one more. Are we breathing? How are we doing? Okay, so proud of you guys. I love practicing with you guys. Okay. Wow. Doing great. Okay. All right. Good, good. Those are tough, but they're worth it. They're so good. If you are consistent with those, you're going to see such massive results. Okay, cars. Let's see where we should move with this. Let's go into... I need a 90-minute class, not a 60-minute class. Okay, let's come into a wide-legged standing forward fold. And just take that to a side to side. And then you're going to come up, and I'm going to get you to come down. We're going to do a pigeon. It's the only, we haven't done a back bend yet. So let's do forward folding pigeon with a back bend. Bring your left leg forward and your right leg back. Now, this is a nice way, you can do 90-90 legs here, and then we've got a nice back bend here. You can fold forward here or stay upright. We kind of want a back bend here anyway. If you want more into that front hip, you can bring that front leg up to 90 degrees and lean more into your right hip. And then we're going to just zigzag over to the other side. So we've got 90-90 legs, upright, lean into the left hip. And then you're going to lie down on your back. And if you have low back issues, I'm going to encourage you to have your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And you're going to take your Shavasana position. And this is really important after a 60-minute class, and especially all those movements we did, to let your body integrate all of that. So here I want you to tune it into your hips. You took a mental note at the beginning of the class. Just notice how they feel at the end of the class. One thing we were really, I was really intending was for them to feel more juicy. Like you're getting a sense of them suspended in that fascial fluid. So can you feel that? Can you sense and feel that at the end of the class? Does everything feel more fluid and less stiff? How does your low back feel now? And everything is connected. You're in an entire fascial field. So maybe you notice changes elsewhere in your body, like your shoulders, your neck. So keep resting back, keep allowing your body to integrate, keep noticing the changes in your hips, in your low back. You can rest back for as long as you like. I would encourage you to stay here for 3 to 5 more minutes just to let your body settle, because you can really allow gravity to receive the bones, let this fascia settle, let your body integrate what you've done. I just want to thank you so much for being here for this class, for practicing with me today, for having a real yoga for real people class, letting me support you in your daily practice. I always love practicing with you so much. If you like this class, I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up and put my hips are happier and my lower back feels better in the comments. That helps us out so much too. And if you feel like you have a friend or a family member that would benefit from this class, feel free to share it with them too. Share the yoga love. That's amazing too. So thanks so much for joining me. Sending you so much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our Pacific Ocean. May you be as rooted as the old growth trees in our forest, and may you be as strong as our mountains.